Hello, good Monday morning. I am here with Hannah to do a planning video. She tried to bite me. So rude. Anyway, I am going to start out this video by showing you what we're using. I got a hot pad buy, I think they're called, at Michael's, and it had this Paris theme in it that I'm absolutely in love with. So these are 2 sheets of paper from the Paris theme. And then I had some gold washi tape and a couple blue washi tapes. I think I only used the blue though. So that is going to be like my theme is kind of like girly and it says Paris, but it's just really cute and beautiful. So that's what I'm using. And let's see what Hannah is going to use here. So it looks like Hannah is using this journal that she got from the Dollar Tree as her like journal portion, but she's planning in her happy planner. And she has all sorts of stickers. She's got some dogs. And some animals. It looks like she's going for kind of an animal theme here.
Like a bird on a tree.
She had said she wanted to do pastel colors since this week is leading up to Easter. So we'll get started planning here, and I thought that I'd do a kind of chatty video. I am going to put a disclaimer on this video because I am going to be talking about anxiety, and so I don't want to trigger anybody if they have a problem with anxiety, but I thought it's good to talk about because so many people suffer from anxiety, and I know for me, like, people look at it and view it as like weak, but it has nothing to do with being weak. As a matter of fact, it has something to do with being extremely strong.
I got time.
So I know for me personally, like my anxiety has gotten worse as I got older. And I talked to a girlfriend that said the same thing, that she realizes that like as she gets older, like all of a sudden her anxiety is getting worse. I don't know if that's like true for everybody, but I've definitely noticed it. Like in my 20s, I would have never said, hey, I have anxiety. In my 20s, I had bouts of depression, and I always, sought help for those bouts of depression because I knew that if I went too long crying about, one thing or just waking up and not finding any happiness, like I knew then it was time that this wasn't just like a hard, rough patch in my life. Like it was true depression. And so, in my 20s, I would have told you that I suffered from, depression occasionally, bouts of depression, but I would have never said that I had anxiety. Well, in my 30s, I definitely noticed that I had anxiety, and definitely into my late 30s, I would definitely say is when my anxiety got really bad. So I don't know if it has to do with like, in my 20s and 30s, well, early 30s, no, 20s. Geez, I forget how old I am, you guys. In my 20s, I was very active. I had a 9-to-5 job that I went to Monday through Friday. On the weekends, I was always out and about doing, something with the kids at SeaWorld, or we lived in the Florida area, so we had passes to SeaWorld. So we were either at SeaWorld or we were at the beach, hanging out with people. So I was very active. And then when I, had Hannah when I was 30, we stopped, I stopped working. And I guess with 3 kids, it just kind of took me for a loop. I just, I don't know. And she had so many, stomach problems and everything when she was a baby. Like it was just easier for me to stay at home, I guess, with her. So I stopped working, which took me out of my social environment. And then I stopped, going out on the weekends because, she was just kind of a difficult baby. And so I think that's when, like, I just started really having a hard time with, like, social anxiety. Like, I would dread having to go and talk to people and like, oh, we're having a party. And at first I'd be like, oh, yeah, I'd love to get out of the house. And then automatically my second thought in my head would be, oh, that means I have to make small talk. And so, like, small talk's not my thing. And I guess when I was working in an office, that I kind of, you have to participate in small talk. But when you're not, when you're a stay-at-home mom, you kind of stop doing it. I think it's one of those things, honestly, where if you don't use it, you lose it. Does that make sense, you guys? Because it seems like I didn't really have social anxiety until I stopped working out in the community, until I stopped, going to a 9 to 5 job every day and interacting with people. So I don't know, maybe that's just my thoughts, but now as I'm saying it, it almost seems like that's when my social anxiety really started. I didn't really have social anxiety before then. I was out and about, and I never like thought twice about, oh, we're going to meet new people. Cool, whatever. But then when I started staying at home, it was like panic would set in when I'd be like, oh, we got to go to a party and there's going to be people there that I don't know. Like, I would get panicky. So that was like my first clue that, something was up. And I didn't really like seek treatment for that. I really didn't seek treatment until I had a really bad bout of depression when and when I say seek treatment, I mean talk therapy, a therapist. I was on medication after my second daughter was born because I had postpartum depression. But as far as like seeking treatment, like therapy, I didn't do that until Hannah was probably, I don't know, 7 or 8. And it was for a really bad bout of depression that I really, sought therapy. But she did, these tests with me where you rate, what you're feeling or whatever. And she was like, wow, do you realize that your anxiety is like ridiculous? And I'm like, no, I didn't. I had no idea. And so that kind of like opened my eyes to, oh, well, yeah, I get all panicky. For example, when Gabrielle first started driving, I would get all panicky if she was out on the road and I heard an ambulance in my house. Like, what are the chances of me hearing an ambulance in my house and it has something to do with my daughter in a car? Come on. But I would automatically pick up the phone and call Gabrielle and say, hey, are you okay? She'd be like, yeah, what is wrong with you? Well, I heard an ambulance. Yeah, well, I'm like 3 towns over, Mom. I'm fine. And so when I told the therapist that, she was like, yeah, that's anxiety. So I became aware of what I was doing. And at that point is when I started working with my therapist to maybe stop some of the behaviors that were not so healthy. Like calling Gabrielle every time I heard an ambulance and she was on the road.
From up here, the world seems
So I just want to cut in real quick and tell you that box that I just showed you, I got it at the Dollar Tree. Is it not the cutest box ever? And I picked up a couple other boxes too that were like pink or just like glittery because I like to store my office supplies in them, and they're really cute sitting on my desk. So yeah, that was really cute. That's why I showed it to you.
we can sit together. It's so beautiful.
So I would just encourage you that if you have, like panicky moments of something that is not worth panicking over, such as, going out in public and talking to strangers or making small talk or, hearing an ambulance, or like right now it's windy out and honestly, I'm a little panicky because we had a tree blow over one time, and ever since then, I'm just kind of panicky when the wind blows because I'm always afraid a tree is going to fall on the house. That might be something that might give you a clue that maybe I'm jumping, maybe I'm jumping ahead. Panicking when, somebody's following you or, getting you out of danger. You know what I mean? That is rational. And so it's rational to panic during those times. But hearing the wind blow, that's not rational. Or hearing an ambulance, that's not rational. And automatically thinking it's your loved one, that's not rational. So I would just encourage you that if you have those feelings or thoughts, that it's okay to talk about it. And it's okay to have anxiety. It doesn't make you weak. Like, I feel too many people have like the suck it up buttercup attitude. Like, oh, please, that's so silly. Why are you even thinking that? And they just like shoo you off or whatever. And that makes you feel even more ridiculous. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm being so ridiculous. But realizing that you have anxiety and calling yourself ridiculous, that doesn't help anything. You have to actually seek, treatment and therapy. And so, I don't want anybody to feel like they shouldn't seek treatment or get help because they don't want people to look at them and think, oh, they're just ridiculous. Well, guess what? There's reasons that we feel this way. We've obviously had something, happen to us, or, some, bout of depression or something that like made us think this way or feel this way. So you don't have to be ashamed to feel that way. So this is it for the video today. I hope that you guys enjoyed our little chit chat. I got my nails painted and everything is planned out for my week. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and I will see you in my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.
We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.